recognised defensive midfielder. Were you surprised by that decision? Given that Chelsea had no control in the game anyway, if they were going to get it back, surely Jorginho had to be on the pitch.
Yeah, that decision was I didn't understand it, but at the same time, I think Tuchel was trying to, you know, change something. Yeah. You know, he saw in the system that something wasn't working. Maybe wanted to bring more attackers onto the field as well. We could see that the control wasn't the problem. We wasn't giving enough as a team. So maybe he just wanted to switch that up a little bit.
He needed
to switch something up. So I think didn't necessarily change as much as he probably wanted it to, but I think there was a lot of decisions or things that you saw in that game where you could say, OK, next game, we're not going to do that. It's good to learn. Well, for me, in my opinion, I think it's better to learn these type of lessons at the beginning of the season because you know, you've got new players in, you know, you're trying a few new systems, players in different positions as well. Things to get used to. Leeds, you saw how much they wanted it. It's going to be like that every week because you're playing against Chelsea, so there's a lot of lessons to be learned.
Now, Chelsea have a week to almost ponder on this result, and annoyingly, you'd want to be playing straight away to try and get over that. But Chelsea have got Leicester and then Southampton away, back-to-back within the space of about 3 or 4 days. Are they looking at games now that Chelsea can't afford to drop points in, Abby?
Oh, absolutely not. They are must-win games. I mean, today, going into it, we thought it was going to be 3 points on the board, being honest, didn't we? Not too much of a struggle. So the fact that we've come away with a loss, those next 2 games, absolute wins. Yeah, they're going to have to put in a real shift and learn from the many mistakes that were made today because we're just not good enough.
The type of performance against Spurs, Sam, is still in there because you can't, you know, it's not a case of, we know these players can do that. They've got to bring that intensity that we brought to Spurs against Leicester because, as we know, against Leicester over the years, they have players that can really hurt us as well.
Yeah, and Tuchel talks about it when in press conferences after games. You know, he's saying, like we said about the Ruben thing, he doesn't want to praise them too much because there's still areas in the game, like we said, you know, we played really well against Spurs, but we didn't get the win. You know, Everton, we would want to create more chances. In this game, we didn't score. We wasn't up to the races as much as you wanted us to see. So there's always lessons to be learned. So I think Tuchel's going to take all these 3 games, a few positives, a few cons as well. But going into the next few games, we need to start getting points on the board. Absolutely.
And Abby, midnight on Wednesday, after that Southampton game in a couple of weeks, is transfer deadline day. What are you expecting from Chelsea from now until then?
Well, looking at today, you kind of hope that we have, you know, a defensive midfielder, don't you, because of the injuries we've got and the kind of current situation that we're in. I also would love another striker to be brought into the fold. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out because obviously you hear all these rumours and I think you know, let's see where we're actually at the end of the window.
And Sam, what are you expecting between now and?
Well, I think Tuchel's made it pretty clear that he wants players in. He said that he spoke to Todd and that they want additional players to add to the quality that they already have. And like Abby said, the injuries that we have in our team as well, there's a few injuries in key areas that you just want to have more depth. We've seen the Cucurella and what he's brought to our team, and now Ben Chilwell, he came back on, and just being able to adapt and be versatile. You need quality players to do that, to challenge across all fronts of all these competitions. So yeah, I think two or three more signings would be what Tuchel would want.
I think it'll be interesting to see what Chelsea do between now and the end of the transfer window. Here is what coming up then on the Fifth Stand app this week. You've got Thomas Tuchel's press conference ahead of that Leicester game on Friday. Then Chelsea are in Premier League 2 action against Manchester City. That's live on the Fifth Stand app from 6:55 p.m. And on Saturday, of course, we will be back here on Matchday Live in the Premier League against Leicester City at Stamford Bridge at 2:15 p.m. That's all to look forward to on the Fifth Stand app. Abby, final word. Sum up today in one word if you can.
Help.
And you, Sam?
We go again. That's not one word, but we go again.
We go again. 3 words, but we'll take it as one. Abby, Sam, thank you so much for joining me on Matchday Live. Not a good day at the office for Thomas Tuchel and the Chelsea boys. A 3-0 defeat to Leeds. We will be back here on Matchday Live for Leicester next weekend, and hopefully it will be 3 points then. From all of us here, goodbye.